I'll tell you what, you want to understand how something works, take it apart. Okay, so I got my piece glued up, just a piece of really hard maple. And I am going to make a new piece here. Actually, I need to measure this. Now this is worn down over the years from rubbing. And so I'm gonna make it a little prouder than what it is. Probably not a whole lot, but a little bit more, maybe more of the height of what this original one is. So the other thing I'm going to do is size this hole to match the bearing, and that was something that I discovered when I disassembled it. I mentioned earlier. There's about an 1/8 of an inch gap on the outside of this hole compared to what the bushing is, and I want that to fit snugly. I want it to fit as tight as this one, because this one is in there. That one's in there really well. So that's my project for today. So I did some measurements, and the bearing falls in between 1.5 inches and 1 5/8 inches. So I am going to start out with the 1.5 inches and then just sneak up on it until my bearing fits. Okay, so I brought my tailstock up before I tighten my chuck. I want to make sure that the blank is square to the chuck before I tighten it. Okay, so I have the piece rounded off, and I have the front side completely flat, because I really want this to be flat, and it really is. So, and it's still a little bigger than I need it to be, but I just don't want to turn away too much wood. So I'm going to drill 2 holes at this stage. One is the smaller hole, and I haven't measured that yet, so I'm not sure what that's going to be yet, which I will do first. Then I will drill this larger hole and then sneak up onto the size of the bearing that I have so that it fits snug in there. And then, because I have my new chuck with my pen jaws on it, I can then flip this over and grab it in this chuck to finish off this side of it and get the shape and the thickness that I need, because it's bigger than I need and it's thicker than I need. I'm ready to drill the hole out here. And this is a 5/8 inch bit. So I'm going to drill my first hole, and I'm going to drill all the way through. Okay, so here we go. And when you're drilling with the Forstner bit, you want to be on the low speed and just take your time. Don't be in a hurry. Okay, so I'm just checking the shaft fits in the hole. So that's good, and the bearing is just about there. I turned it down as far as I felt comfortable turning, and then I just used 80 grit sandpaper and then just kept checking and checking. And I think if I tap that in, it's gonna go in and it's gonna stay where. What I did here was I put my chuck, just pressure fit here into the opening so that I can get my pen jaws in here square to the piece. Just lock it down and just gently tighten it up. Then you can go ahead and tighten up your jaw. And this ensures a much better chance of getting your piece transferred to this chuck as straight and as square as possible from the original. I don't take credit for that because I saw somebody else doing it, but I thought I would share that. It may seem like this is taking a long time, but I really don't want to do this again. So I want to take my time and do it right the first time. I put the shaft in here, and so now I can just draw a line around here to get a rough estimate on how much more material I need to take off of this side. The challenge will be getting the step down for this portion of the, hey, let's call this a wheel hub. It's not really for a wheel, but let's make it sound like I know what I'm talking about. So, how did I do? What? Looks good. You've heard me before mention that this is a homemade sander, and I realized a few days ago that this is what looks like a shaft, a drive shaft for like a lawnmower rear wheel drive or something. I have no idea because it has splines on it. So anyway, it's definitely been repurposed, I would say. I can't imagine that's how it would have been, but it doesn't surprise me. So here we are, and this end goes on here like so. And this one goes on here like so. So I think it's gonna be a little snug. I might have to do some, maybe just some cleaning out a little bit of this hole. Because I think once the bearing goes in there, I think it's gonna be snug. And it needs to roll freely. So I think I'm gonna press this in here. I'm gonna get brave and press it in here. I got the end done finally. Bearing is in. It fits onto the PVC pipe, and I did cut a new piece of the PVC pipe. I just used the saw and chopped it off. Very easy. Now, because this was a little thicker, I had to put the original hub here on a jam chuck, and then I just took some sandpaper and sanded it down a little bit, and it slid right on. That was really not a big deal, but I did need to do a little extra sanding so that there was enough slack here to make all this happen and get the bearing in there, that I felt it was secure, and I think we're in good shape. So if I were to do this again, I would do this differently. Because I copied the one that was here, that was already on here, and realizing that there really isn't anything that's gonna hold this bearing in. There wasn't a clip or anything on the inside of the shaft here to hold the bearing, to keep it from sliding. So if I do this again, I'm going to re-engineer this end and make it more like the original one. And I'm not sure if this was how they wanted it in the blueprints. I really don't know. But I might put a screw in here, 2 screws in here, with flat washers, just to keep that bearing in place. Because I'm thinking through all the vibration that this creates, it's gonna work itself loose, just like the other one was. Even though this bearing fits snug, I still have a feeling over time that bearing's gonna work itself loose, because there's nothing there basically to hold it. One screw might do it, and I think to save myself some trouble, I think I'm gonna do that. Other than that, once I get that done, then it's back to the sander so I can assemble it and get back to my project. Okay, so here I am back at the sander, and try and make this work. Go, oh, yeah, like that.